if I can just go over a little bit about financial aid, that might help. Okay. So everybody, once you get yourself accepted, you got to fill out that FAFSA. You got to make sure that all your information is sent over. Okay. And make sure you're talking to your coach about that process as it's going, like, hey, what's going on? Has it been sent out yet? Because our coaches will communicate with our athletic director, and our athletic director will get answers as soon as possible. Okay. Gloria and Michelle can certainly help as well. But a lot of times, like, it's best to just go through your coach because it's fast and they can concentrate on other things and not drive them crazy too much. But once you get your package back, okay, and this is completely up to each individual, but a lot of times it's really helpful to talk to your coach about what your financial aid package is, okay? And the reason it's helpful is not because we really want to know, but we want to make sure you guys are comfortable with the decision you're going to make. We don't want you coming here if you don't think you're going to be able to make it work for 4 years, all right? Like, we want you here and want you to be here for 4 years. So we want you to know down to the dollar, basically, what you're going to have to pay, what is a grant that you don't have to pay back, what's a loan, okay? And we can help explain that to you. And let's say, like, one of our coaches isn't quite comfortable with explaining that, Arlen and I can certainly, Coach Freeman and I can certainly help explain all that to you. So it's up to you guys whether you want to share that with us, but I always recommend letting us know because we can help you. We can tell you this is what you're going to have to do. This is when your payments are going to be due. You got to get a payment plan, yada, yada, yada. And I really think, like, I tell this story every year that every September 14th, there is a line outside my office because September 15th, all the paperwork's due, and all of my guys have to come, sit down, and we got to help everybody fill out all the paperwork, and everybody's helping each other. So, like, again, I think that kind of just goes to show you, like, we care about you. We want to make sure that you're going to be successful here and that you're going to get the money that you need here. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions about that stuff. Somebody asked a question about the special meal plan for athletes, okay? And that's a good question because there's no, like, real answer to that. But I'll talk about our dining hall specifically, all right? The one really nice thing about our dining hall is that all the food made in the dining hall is made every single day, all right? There's no processed food in the dining hall. Like, they hand cut their French fries every single day. When they make chicken fingers, they're cutting up chicken breast, breading it and frying it to make real chicken fingers. So, like, they're doing things in the dining hall that is health conscious, it's fresh, that they make every single day, all right? And the truth is that they're trying to expand your palate a little bit and trying to get you to try some other things too. But there's always fresh pizza, there's always pasta, there's always hamburgers and stuff like that, and then they make, like, a meal of the day. When you're an athlete and you're traveling, there's not a specific athlete-only meal plan or dining hall or anything like that. But when you're an athlete, we might open a little bit earlier to make sure the dining hall might open a little bit to make sure that you can eat before we go on an away game, or to make sure that they're going to stay open a little bit later when we have a game at 6 o'clock. So you're going to get back and all the guys or girls can go eat really quick. So there's not a specific meal plan, but there is we do work with the dining hall every day to make sure that our athletes are fed well, fed healthy, and food is never a problem. Like, you have plenty of swipes. All of that is really convenient. There are a couple questions about scouting process and tryout process and all that stuff. All right, so we're in different times right now. That's for sure. Right now, what is it? May. I'd be on a Thursday. I'd be driving to an AAU event, like for a scouting event or something along those lines. Right now, to be there for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Clearly, that's not happening, okay? So all trying to figure out how the teams are going to work are virtual right now. But here's what I think you need to know, all right? Every coach is going to be different about how they're going to pick their team, how they're going to mold their team and everything. But if you've been in contact with the coach and you've spoken with the coach, like, and they told you like, hey, we would like you to be here. We think you'd be a good fit, whatever wording they've used. All right. You're going to be involved in the program in some way. All right. What that means is every coach has to have some kind of a tryout process. Okay. So some coaches might say that it's the first day of practice. Some might say that you just have to make sure you get your physical stuff in and you want to be on the team, and that's the way it works. Others might say that we're going to have a month long. I have no idea. Every sport might be different. Okay. But just know that if you do choose to come to CSE and you do everything the right way. Now, if you act like an idiot and you get yourself in trouble or something, that's a different story. But you're going to be involved in the program in some way, whether that's, you might be a practice guy. You might be a starter and play every inning, every minute, every match, whatever. But that's up to each athlete to decide. The coaches are just going to be there to form their teams the best that they can and utilize the people that they have in the program the best way that they can. So every team's going to be a little bit different. Like I tell all my guys, if we have 20 kids show up and there's 20 guys and we're allowed to travel with 15, well, 5 guys can come and practice every single day, be a part of the program just as much as the guys that start. But, you're just not quite at that level right now, so you might not travel that year. All right. And each coach should kind of talk on to each kid about how that works. So, Arlen, do you think that's a pretty fair answer to that?
Yeah, that's good. One thing that I'll, spin off from what Coach Wagenblast said is I think video is really, really important. We aren't going to be able to see you probably in person. So sending us some video from different angles and try to make it as realistic as possible. Don't cut it. We don't want to see a cut video of you just making shots or hitting the baseball hard or, throwing a strike with the softball if you're a softball pitcher, or kicking the ball in the goal, as a soccer player. We want to see a realistic video so we can assess your ability and be able to figure out if you're going to be able to fit into our program athletically. And then there's also the piece that Coach was talking about, being a good person. We believe character drives the process. And if you're process oriented and you believe in that, you're going to get the results you want, meaning you're going to get the time on the court or, on the field. You're going to be able to be part of something bigger than yourself, and you're going to have some success, in the team as an individual. So, that's kind of what we'll talk about there. One thing that I saw another question about scholarships. Scholarships are, and Gloria probably talk more about this, but scholarships are offered based on academics. We're a Division III program, so we don't give athletic scholarships, and also government and state aid. We do meet all need base. So if you need a little help, financial aid will assess that and be able to address that, hopefully, so we'll make it affordable for you and your family to come to the school. There are a ton of scholarships out there. My advice to everybody on this call, go online and look up a scholarship, okay? If you're a left-handed pitcher, there might be a left-handed pitcher that's from, Southern New Jersey scholarship that's $500. Any money is good, okay? So if we can get some extra cash to go towards our college, you should take advantage of that. Also, financial aid on the website has a list of all the scholarships other than what I talked about, academic scholarships, institutional aid, and also government and state aid. There are a ton of scholarships that are listed there. You can go through those, and if you qualify for one of those, or you think you do, you can apply for it. All right, so I hope I answered your question, Reese.
Yeah, and
Jamie, there was another question from Jamie that asked about the women's volleyball and how many athletic sports per year. The women's volleyball coach, Nicole Bolash, I'm going to put her email in here for you. and how many athletic spots a year, sorry, not sports, spots a year. It just depends on what she's going to field and fill on her team.
Mm-hmm. Everybody should know this for financial aid too, is that the college costs $47,000 a year, but there's not one kid who pays that. Well, there's one kid who pays $47,000 a year, and that's because he refused to fill out his financial aid. So as long as you fill out your financial aid, you're going to get something, all right? And they're going to work with you on this. So I can't stress that enough. Like, fill it out, do what you got to do for that. Don't miss deadlines. That's why, we have the line outside of our office. Consuela, Arlen, and I yesterday literally called all the student athletes who didn't fill out something, and right, guys, and we had to, and just so our kids could get that extra money. So we're going to be on top of you about all that stuff, because we don't want you to screw it up and not get the money that you're owed.
Guys, I have a junior that's going into high school, and I'm learning all of this, and there's free money, and I'm learning that there's free money but again, you have to keep up your grades, you have to keep up your stuff, but you have to fill out these forms too. But fill out the forms. It's money they're giving you.
Yeah. And okay, so we have 2 questions about track and field potential. Great question. So right now there is not a plan to start track and field. We do have a cross-country program, but the next sport that we start will 99.5% be a track team. We don't know if that's going to be next year or if that's going to be 3-4 years from now. We're not positive about that, but the truth is that the school wants to grow, the athletic department wants to grow, and there's a need and a want for track. So I'm not promising anything, but it looks like within the next couple of years, we will have some kind of a track program here. It most likely will be more track and not as much field, just so everybody knows that. But that's still to be determined, to be decided.
Does the women's volleyball team practice year-round? Okay, so at the Division III level, other than a few sports like Coach Wagenblast's sport and Coach Q's, the basketballs, there's a non-traditional and there's a traditional season. Okay, we have 19 weeks as a baseball program. I don't know about tennis, but we have 19 weeks. So what we do is we take a non-traditional season in the fall, and that will be 4 weeks, and it's 4 days a week. On those 4 days a week, we'll have practice. We'll have strength and conditioning that will be, monitored by the coaching staff. And we'll also do individual stuff to really get to know you as a person and get to know you as an athlete. We'll play a non-traditional game, 2 games. We have at baseball level, and I'm only going to talk about baseball, we play 2 9-inning baseball games against either the same opponent. Last year we played Sussex and Orange Community College down at Sussex Stadium. It was great. It gives myself a chance, our coaching staff a chance to see you play in a very competitive situation and get to see a snapshot of what you're going to do as an athlete. And then to fast forward to the spring or your traditional season, and some like women's soccer, cross country, and women's volleyball is in the fall. Men's volleyball and women's basketball and men's basketball is in the winter. And then baseball, softball, and tennis, that's the competitive season is in the spring. So fast forward, we all started on February 1st this year, or February 3rd that weekend. We practice for a couple weeks, and then we go right into our season. In the traditional season, it's 6 days a week. You get 1 day off that you can have practice or a game. And those days are packed, especially on the baseball side. There'll be strength and conditioning aspect. There'll be some plyo stuff there'll definitely be some baseball or sports specific activity. And I know that we do a study hall for anybody that has under 3.0 GPA. Really important. I'm really proud of our team. We had a 3.2 GPA with 50 guys in the fall. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do in the spring. But to answer that question, I know I answered a lot of questions in that, but I thought I would talk about that aspect.
Somebody asked about how many basketball games you play a week. Most sports are playing, with the exception of baseball, which has to cram a lot of games into a short period of time. Most sports are playing two games a week, give or take. Some weeks you might have 3, some weeks you might have 1. Well, that's pretty accurate for tennis as well, right? For the most part, you're playing twice a week or so. We try to give Sundays off as much as possible for all of our teams, because we think that every kid and coaches included, you need a day to just get away and to mentally have a break and physically have a break, and to do that on a Sunday where you don't have class, where you don't have a million other things going on in your life, hopefully, that you can just have a day to kind of chill. So we'll practice 6 days a week and we'll have off 1 day a week. And then, as you get into the seasons, coaches might decide like, hey, I think we need an extra day off this week. We might need to go really light and just have a mental day. And then somebody asked about academics too. Every coach has their own academic study hall policy. So you might want to talk specifically about the coach if that's a concern. But here's what you got to know at the end of the day is that if you're struggling, we're going to find out. And we're going to try to get you help. We're not going to get angry. We're going to try to get you help. And then if we try to get you help and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, well, that's when the anger might start, But first and foremost, we're here to make sure that you're going to be successful. So if you're struggling with something, you just got to speak up. And I know specifically for guys, and I'm sure women are similar, but like when we screw up, we don't usually like to admit that we screw up. So that's like a big part of growing up is when you make a mistake, admitting that you made the mistake and trying to fix it. So if you fail a test, if you don't show up for class, own up to it and then get yourself back on track, and usually people are pretty forgiving about that stuff. Sure. So we're in the CSAC conference, and we just moved to the CSAC. Last year was our first year in the CSAC. It's a great move for the college. Geographically, it's better. So there's, I think, 5 or 6 schools in Pennsylvania. There's us. There's 2 schools in Jersey, and there's the school in Maryland. So it's nice travel-wise right here. Most places are about 2 hours away or less, so that's convenient. And then most of the out-of-conference games will be local out-of-conference games against the other Jersey schools. Drew and FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson, are literally, like, we could throw a rock at FDU, which I occasionally want to do. We could throw a rock at FDU and we can walk to Drew. That's how close it is. So it's a nice small college community, and we've developed a good little rivalry with them as well. So we're encouraging all of our coaches to play Drew and FDU. It creates good school spirit. 2 years ago at the FDU game, men's women's basketball game that we had there, we sold out the game like 2 hours before the game even started. So it's become a nice little rivalry. So we're playing competition that's local while also having a conference that's pretty close by as well.
Days that we have games, that's going to be sports specific. One thing that, we try to do administratively is we try to have you miss less than 3 days. For baseball, we play 40 baseball games. So, we'll play three games on a Monday. We'll play 3 games on a Tuesday, 3 games on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. Our conference games are on Saturday. We have a double header. That's how our conference works. And Sunday's usually traditionally off. But that's kind of how that works for day wise. Right.
If I could say this, I don't know if anybody has been accepted what's something called fast track optional or fast track mandatory, okay? Let me say this, if you have the opportunity to be involved in fast track, take advantage of it, all right? It's a free program that gets you, Gloria, it's 4 credits, is that correct?
Up to 4 credits, correct.
Yep, you can take 4 credits for absolutely free. You get to school, I think it's 10 or 11 days early, okay? And it's a great program to kind of get 4 credits out of the way for no additional cost. And it kind of is I call it boot camp. You know, it's like you come to school, you hang out 4 credits in 11 days. Excuse my language, but it sucks. Like it's 12 hours a day of school, but everybody who gets out of it and is done with it is happy that they did it because they got their 4 credits and it's out of the way. So if you're fast track optional, I encourage you to do it. If you're fast track mandatory, you have to go in order to be enrolled in the college. So make sure you're planning that, everything. Sorry.
Yes, and to just expand on what Coach Wag said, if you are fast track optional, please let me know if you do want to participate in the program. It's 2 weeks before classes start, but like he said, it's free. Even though, yeah, you will be there 2 weeks before everyone, just think of it just think of it as you being prepared, a little bit more prepared by the time school starts, because by the time school starts, you're already going to be ahead of the curve. And the fact that you have 4 additional college credits, it'll open the opportunity for you to take another class that you might be interested in because you already knocked down 4 credits from all the credits that you have to take to graduate. So if it is optional and you do want to commit, please let myself, or if you are working with Michelle, let her know. You can let Kiana know, and it would be a great opportunity. Also with EOF, it's similar, but like I said, EOF is state funded, but I can expand on that tomorrow at 2 p.m.
How do they know if they're fast track optional or mandatory?
Mandatory.
So when we accept the students, we depending on after I evaluate your transcript, you fall into basically a bracket. If you fall within that bracket, we send out a letter to you asking if that you are fast track optional, and then you just have to let us know if you want to participate. For the students that are fast track mandatory, meaning that you have to do the 2-week summer program so you can complete being admitted to the school.
One question was, do you get 4 credits regardless?
Well, the only thing, you have to make sure you attend every day. So as long as you participate in the 2-week summer program throughout the whole time and you don't miss a day, which is going to be difficult because you're going to be on campus. So either one of your roommates or someone is going to be waking you up. As long as you complete the program, you will get your credits.
And being a commuter does not affect your placement on a sports team. You could be a commuter or resident, doesn't matter. I have commuters and residents on the tennis teams.
And there's a train that is on campus. And it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get to New York City. I know my guys took advantage of it, went to New York City on the weekends to hang out. I think it costs like $8 to get there both ways. Okay, so it's cheap.
And also, I mean, student life is also another different part of like not having a sorority or fraternity. There's so many great clubs. There's so many these were things that were not there when I was there 20 years ago, but they're there. They're great events.
Yes, there are clubs and there are club sports. We're talking about maybe starting a baseball club. But, you know, we got to figure out what's going on. We get back on campus. But there are a lot of clubs. You could start a club by yourself. You just have to apply for it. And then you have to have, 3 or 4 other people that want to join?
I believe, yeah, between 4 to 5. And you can, as long as you have, 4 to 5 participants, you can start your own club. You have to go through the Student Government Association and then have an advisor. So sometimes you can either have one of us or you can have a faculty member or a coach be your advisor of the club as long as they're available.
I'm going to say this, like, I
There's one
legitimately
person.
believe we have one of the best locations in the state. You know, like being so close to Madison, being so close to Morristown, you know, and FDU and Drew would say the same thing. Like we have, it's an awesome, it's right in the middle of two really hip, neat towns. Right across the street from the Jets practice facility, Jet fans. So, you know, there's multi-million-dollar houses. Like none of us, at least none of the coaches in Gloria, can afford to.
Not yet. Maybe in the future. Let's see.
right next to campus. So.
And one of the great things is that freshmen can have vehicles. So that's definitely a perk because the majority of institutions, I believe you have to be either a sophomore or up in order to have a vehicle. So if you're a freshman, you definitely can have your car on campus. Someone asked if can we pick our roommates. So the majority, since the athletic department usually puts all their players together, but if you and a roommate are both coming to CSE, make sure you contact Residence Life and let them know that you both want to be each other's roommates, and make sure you submit your housing deposit. That way, you both are in agreement to rooming together.
Go Eagles.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Go
guys.
Eagles! Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.